Welcome to the 700 Club. Israel is intensifying its assaults against Hamas to get the hostages back. Israeli Defense Forces have destroyed a command post and taken out a Hamas leader in Lebanon.
Meanwhile, Iran appears to be caving under pressure from the Trump administration. Chris Mitchell brings us the story from Jerusalem.
Israel is continuing its aggressive new policy to strike Hamas with growing force until the terror groups gives up the remaining hostages, disarms, and leaves Gaza.
We've attacked more than 600 terror targets throughout Gaza. We've eliminated more than 250 terrorists, including 12 senior members of the Hamas terrorist organization and in its government branch. All of them are terrorists. All of them took part in the October 7th massacre.
A new Israeli strategy is to gain control of more sections of Gaza if Hamas refuses to surrender the hostages. This leaves whole cities like Rafah cut off from the rest of Gaza, and Hamas is reportedly facing major problems inside its organization following Israeli assassinations of top leaders. Meanwhile, Iran is now reportedly pulling its forces out of Yemen amid the U.S. airstrikes. The bombing campaign is aimed to stop the Houthis from firing its ballistic missiles at Israel and shipping in the Red Sea. The Houthis have caused a severe disruption to global trade. President Trump says he believes the Iranians will come around to direct talks with the U.S. despite their public denials they won't talk to America. The White House is demanding Iran give up its nuclear program. Trump also says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu may come to Washington again as soon as next week. It's another sign of the improved relations since the Biden administration. Also in Washington, Senator Bernie Sanders continues his efforts to break off American military support for Israel. He put forth two bills to stop $8.8 billion worth of U.S. arms sales. Both bills were defeated by more than 80 votes against them. Still, 15 Democrats stood with efforts to stop the arms sales, and Axios reported the vote shows the divisions in the party over the war in Gaza and the Israeli government. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, the divisions within the Democrat Party are definitely concerning to anyone who is a supporter of Israel. It just shows the deep divide, and the so-called progressive wing of the party is absolutely against arming Israel, allowing Israel to defend itself. These are things that we should all pay very close attention to. America has to stand strong with Israel. It's the only democracy in the region. Here's a fact for you, and maybe a surprising fact. What country in the Middle East allows Muslims freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, where you can believe what you want to believe? What country in the Middle East does that? Well, it's Israel. All the other countries have all kinds of restrictions, and if you're not Muslim enough, you're subject to extreme penalties, including being killed. You look at that map and go, well, where's liberty for Muslims? Well, it's right in the heart of Israel. So why in the world would progressives be against that and say, well, we want to support the other side? We want to support Hamas, and Hamas is calling for the absolute destruction of Israel and murdering every single Jew there. And so that's what we're going to support. It makes no sense to me that any American would do that. In other news, President Trump says he's willing to negotiate with other countries over his tariffs. John Jessup has more on that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Thanks, Gordon. The president asked on Air Force One if he's receptive to deals on his tariffs. Open the door to that possibility.
If somebody said that we're going to give you something that's so phenomenal, as long as they're giving us something that's good.
Still, China today saying it will impose a 34% tariff on all U.S. imports starting next week. And stock futures starting off lower again today after Thursday's major sell-off on concerns over tariffs and the expectation they could slow economic growth. Economists are downgrading their outlook for the rest of this year, but the president says the economy will boom in the longer term. Well, more than 30 million Americans are under flood watches after more than 30 tornadoes hit states across the South and Midwest. At least 7 people were killed in the storms, 5 of them in Tennessee. The city of Selmer, Tennessee, hit hard by tornadoes. In Nashville, heavy rain covering the streets, with the governor declaring a state of emergency. Now, many areas could face what officials call, quote, generational flooding, with up to 15 inches of rain possible in some places. Turning now to the sports world, as America's top college basketball teams square off in Saturday's Final Four, followed by the championship game Monday night. It's not all fun and games for everyone, though. Americans are wagering more than $3 billion on March Madness this year. CBN medical reporter Lori Johnson looks at the dark side of online sports betting and how people can get help.
People view online sports betting as harmless fun, but then find themselves losing their student loan money, their home, or worse. In fact, experts say of all addictions, gambling has the highest rate of suicide.
Seeing these second-half odds, I'm going to live bet them to win.
Ever since the Supreme Court cleared the way for legalized sports betting in 2018, gambling has skyrocketed.
We look at brain chemistry from gambling. It works very similarly to brain chemistry with cocaine.
Winning triggers the release of dopamine, creating a euphoric feeling and the urge to recapture that rush.
We know that the earlier someone starts to gamble, the more likely they are to develop gambling problems later in life, and especially if you're doing it before you're the legal age.
Research shows 60% of high schoolers and 70% of college students placed bets in 2023.
It can be in the palm of your hand on a mobile device 24/7. Games are running all of the time.
Financial problems, obsession with games, and the inability to stop can be signs a person needs help. Gambling addiction hotlines can be a start.
Professionals are available to look for local resources within your community. That could be counseling services. It could also be through Gamblers Anonymous or other self-help groups, many of which have a faith-based element to them.
Christians can also be blind to the dangers of gambling. A new survey of Christians found 42% felt positively about sports betting and 35% were neutral. Only 23% opposed it.
To me, that is a reflection of discipleship that we have to address within our local churches.
Southern Baptists are offering a resource. The Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission developed a new guide offering a biblical view of gambling.
The problem with gambling is that it thrives off of covetousness. Covetousness then breeds greed, which greed then perpetuates itself in idolatry, where the love of money is now the controlling factor, which takes our heart's affections away from the Lord.
The guide gives examples of how to lead people in the right direction.
All right, boys, who we betting on?
So while sports betting is more accessible than ever, some see it as a snake in the grass that's best left alone. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Great reporting. Thank you, Lori. Well, The Chosen Last Supper had its highest theatrical opening last weekend, coming in at number 3 at the box office and earning nearly $12 million. Part 2 hits theaters today, and our Ephraim Graham sat down with the series creator Dallas Jenkins for an inside look at the worldwide hit.
Listen carefully, because I'm going to tell you what is about to happen.
With every season, it gets bigger and bigger. How do you handle that as it continues to grow?
It's still the same process. I'm still a guy on a couch with my laptop with my co-writers writing the season. When we're on set, it's a group of artists and friends who are trying as best we can to capture authentically the story of Jesus. But ultimately, and I think you'll see this when you watch the episodes, no matter how big the story gets and the backdrop gets, it's still about the intimacy.
Do you have any idea what that was? Never seen him do anything like that.
Ultimately, I'm like, no matter how big this scene is, even the turning of the tables in the temple, our biggest, most dramatic scene we've done, I've still got to be checking in on the people involved. Where are they at in their journey? What are they thinking? How does this affect their relationship? How does this affect their friendship? How does this affect their understanding of who Jesus is?
I think we should be very clear about something. He did not strike any person or animal in the market.
Are you crazy?
But this particular season was meant for the big screen, correct?
Oh, yeah. Well, visually speaking, if there's ever a season that you need to see on the big screen, it's this one.
The hour is coming.
We got the turning over the tables of the temple. We got the triumphal entry. We got the Last Supper. We got the betrayal of Judas. These are big things, big themes. It demands to be seen and heard in a room with other people who are going to laugh and cry together. And already the people who've seen these first couple episodes are like, oh, wow, this is big. This is epic.
Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees! Stop this at once! The world is changing, and Jesus offers a vision to redeem it.
If you had to quickly summarize this season, how would you do that?
I would say intensity for sure. This is the most intense season we've ever had. But there's also, we get to kick a little butt this season. Season 4 was pretty sad. Season 6 is going to be the most devastating, obviously, season we've ever done. Season 5, it is a cornucopia of emotions, and I think this reflects the totality of who God is, which I think is really cool. I think sometimes we put him in a specific box. He's the kind, gentle, maybe hippie Jesus, or he's the law and order justice Jesus. He's all of those things in this season. I think that's really exciting to explore.
Some of those scenes look so good. As we mentioned, part 2 of the new season of the series is in theaters starting today, followed by the 3rd installment, Gordon, April 11th.
All right, just in time for Easter, which is wonderful to have a 3-part movie dominating. It's really incredible when you see a Christian film come in number 3, and I think it's going to build this weekend.
Absolutely.
And so I'm excited.
I'm excited for it just because I think The Chosen's success is now opening doors for other faith-based content to also be a success. A great example of that is House of David, which I've been watching on Amazon Prime. And obviously, I'm a fan of The Chosen. I'm super excited. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I would have never guessed.
I'm super excited.
Weren't you invited to the premiere?
I was, but I was not able to attend.
Well, then you're not a real fan.
Oh, no, I'm still a real fan. I just was on vacation and wasn't able to go, but still appreciate the invite. And I'm just super excited to see all the different scenes depicted in this season. In particular, the one where Jesus is coming into the temple, he's making the whip. I love that for some reason because I think a lot of people see Jesus as super gentle, and he is gentle and merciful, but then, he's got that righteous anger. So I like that The Chosen is depicting that side of Jesus as well.
It's my house is a house of prayer, and you made it into a den of thieves. And he ekbalos, he throws them out, But the lesson in there is he didn't do it right away. He didn't do it when he first noticed.
Yep.
He went and he handcrafted.
Yes, he did. This is what I love.
His own, and to see that, it's one thing to read it; it's another thing to see it. But my hope about The Chosen is it really re-engages all of our culture with the Bible. That it encourages people to go read. And experience it that way and have that be a regular part of your life, not just a movie you go to one weekend, but something that you put into your life. And then most importantly, don't just be a hearer of the word, be a doer. And when you're a doer, then things will really change.
Amen. Absolutely.